Cooking noodles for someone I miss. A soft night in the village kitchen. Evening settles gently over the village, like a warm blanket drawn up to the shoulders. Outside, the cicadas begin their quiet chorus, and a soft breeze carries the scent of grass and distant wood smoke through the open windows. Inside the kitchen, a single lamp glows amber, casting slow shadows across the wooden floor and the familiar shelves lined with chipped teacups and old spice jars. I tie my apron the way I always do. Loop, knot, a small tug to make sure it sits just right. The fabric smells faintly of rice flour and soap. Tonight, I'm cooking noodles for someone I miss. The pot is already on the stove, water beginning to whisper as it warms. I rinse my hands under the tap, watching the droplets catch the light, then reach for the bundle of dried noodles resting in a woven basket. They're thin and pale, fragile in my fingers. I snap them gently in half, just like you used to, so they fit perfectly in the pot. The cutting board bears countless marks from years of simple meals. I place a bunch of green onions on it, their sharp, fresh scent rising as I slice them into soft rings. Each chop makes a quiet, comforting sound. Tuk, 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 steady and unhurried. A carrot follows, thin strips falling into a neat pile like orange ribbons. I add a handful of mushrooms, their earthy aroma grounding me in the moment. The water begins to boil, small bubbles growing into a rolling dance. I slide the noodles in, watching them soften and sway, releasing a gentle, wheat-like fragrance into the air.
Dinner's ready.
Steam curls upward, fogging the window just a little. From the corner of the kitchen, the old radio hums softly. A familiar melody drifts through the room, the kind that always seems to belong to evenings like this. I hum along without thinking, stirring the pot in slow circles. On the counter, a small ceramic bowl waits. I crack an egg into it, the yolk glowing like a tiny sun. With chopsticks, I whisk it gently, the soft swish-swish sound blending with the simmering water. You used to tease me for being too careful, for treating every meal like a ceremony. But I liked that about us, how even the simplest things felt special. The broth is next. I ladle some into a small cup, tasting it carefully. It's warm, savory, and just a little sweet. I add a pinch of salt, a splash of soy sauce, and a drop of sesame oil. The aroma deepens, wrapping the kitchen in a cozy embrace. Outside, I hear footsteps on the gravel path. Probably Mrs. Tanaka heading home with her groceries. Somewhere down the lane, a dog barks once, then settles. The village feels alive, yet peaceful, like it's breathing in time with me. I pour the broth into 2 bowls, even though only one will be eaten tonight. Old habits are hard to let go of. The noodles follow, settling softly into the warm liquid. I arrange the toppings with care. Green onions, carrots, mushrooms, and a half-boiled egg, its center still golden and soft. When the bowls are ready, I carry them to the low wooden table near the window. One is placed across from my usual seat, just as it always was. The steam rises gently, fogging the air between us. And for a moment, it feels like you might appear, smiling and brushing rain from your hair. Before sitting down, I step outside to the small garden behind the house. The evening air is cool against my skin. Fireflies drift lazily above the tall grass, their tiny lights blinking like soft stars. I pick a few fresh herbs, their leaves cool and fragrant in my hands. Back inside, I sprinkle them over the noodles. The scent brightens instantly, fresh and green. I sit down, resting my hands on the table, feeling the smooth grain of the wood beneath my palms. Dinner's ready, I whisper, even though the room is empty. I take the first bite slowly. The noodles are tender, the broth warm and comforting. It tastes like home, like late nights and shared stories, like the quiet happiness of simply being together. Between bites, my eyes wander around the kitchen. The old clock ticks steadily on the wall. Your favorite mug still sits on the shelf, its rim chipped from the day it slipped out of your hands. I never had the heart to throw it away. After eating, I wash the dishes carefully, stacking them to dry on the rack. The water runs warm over my hands, carrying away the last traces of broth and memories. I wipe the counter, fold my apron, and hang it on its hook by the door. With the chores done, I brew a pot of tea. The kettle sings softly as it heats, and soon the scent of roasted leaves fills the air. I pour 2 cups again, setting one across from me, just like before. I take my tea to the small bench by the window. Outside, the moon has risen, pale and gentle. Its light spills over the rooftops, turning the village into a quiet painting of silver and shadow. I sip slowly, letting the warmth spread through me. My thoughts drift to the times we spent in this very kitchen, how we cooked together, laughed at our mistakes, and shared dreams between mouthfuls of simple meals. You always said the village felt like it was holding us in its arms. A soft knock comes from the door. My neighbor's cat slips in, tail held high, eyes curious. I chuckle quietly and pour a small dish of milk for it. The cat laps it up happily, purring like a tiny engine. Even small company feels comforting on nights like this. Later, I light a single candle on the table. Its flame flickers gently, casting warm light across the room. I take out my journal, its pages slightly worn, and write a few lines about the evening, the noodles, the fireflies, the quiet ache of missing you. House creaks softly as it settles for the night. Outside, the cicada song fades into the background, replaced by the hush of distant wind through the trees. I close the journal, pressing my palm against its cover for a moment. Before heading to bed, I step out onto the porch. The stars are scattered across the sky, calm and endless. I imagine you somewhere under the same sky, maybe cooking your own simple meal, maybe thinking of home. Good night, I whisper to the village, to the garden, to the empty chair at the table. Inside, I blow out the candle. The kitchen falls into soft darkness, still warm with the lingering scent of noodles and tea. As I lie down, the quiet wraps around me, gentle and kind, carrying me into a peaceful sleep filled with memories of shared dinners and unspoken love.